number 3, I'm doing a 40-day series. If you're just joining us, on 40 things that I'm learning in my 40s, inspired by the book, The Everyday Hero by Robin Sharma. And I saw a picture of page 1 of this chapter that he entitled 40 Things I Wish I'd Known at 40. I saw it and it just resonated with me very, very deeply. I actually had to put it into ChatGPT to figure out where was this from. And so it identified that it was from this book. I've gotten the book. I'm devouring it. You see, it's all tattered up and nasty and all of that. But there's so much wisdom here. There's so much seasoning in the time under tension when it comes to leadership. And it's not that new leaders aren't effective, but new leaders aren't as wise. New leaders bend towards action and away from wisdom, bend towards movement and away from progress. And one of the things that I've learned in 20 plus years now of leading people is I used to be very black and white. It was on or off, it was yes or no. And I've learned that there's a lot of life in the nuance. There's a lot of wisdom in the shades, and learning how to read those shades and how to take that wisdom and use it in the future to apply it to new challenges, to new opportunities, to new relationships. That's where you become very, very powerful, is compounding wisdom. Compounding wisdom. If you're watching this, type compounding wisdom in the comments. That should be all of our goals. Wisdom on top of wisdom on top of wisdom on top of wisdom. As we learn and we gain in wisdom, wisdom is what we get when we evaluate life's lessons. When we evaluate them, internalize them, and then can use them to synthesize something new. That's wisdom. And compounding wisdom is when we gain wisdom from something that we've used wisdom to get to, and we start stacking these layers of wise choices, wise actions, wise behaviors, wise no's, wise yeses. And all of a sudden, as our wisdom increases, as our ability to act with wisdom and truth and accuracy increases, our results increase tenfold and then 100-fold. And so I'm really, really excited to share with you today, today, number 3 is that being scared just means that you're about to grow. Being scared means that you're about to grow, and that frequent discomfort is the price of accelerated progress. Frequent discomfort is the choice of accelerated progress. Now, understand this. Here's some wisdom for you. There's 2 sorts of discomfort, okay? There's chosen discomfort, okay? That's discomfort that you could move away from, but you don't, because you know that the only way is through, that the only path is through, that you've got to go through hard things to make you stronger and wiser and faster and better. There's a chosen discomfort, and then there's a default discomfort. The default discomfort is the byproduct of easy living with hard results. And so there's 2 places where we can have discomfort, and that's wisdom. Wisdom, right? There's a lot of people who would watch and say, "Oh, I'm feeling a lot of discomfort. I must be right on track," and they're nowhere near on track. In fact, the reason that they are facing so much discomfort is because they choose comfort on a daily basis, and then the outcome is uncomfortable, right? What we want to do is we want to choose discomfort on a daily basis so that the outcome could be comfortable. Doesn't mean you're going to choose that, but it means that you could choose that. So it's like pay now and play later, or play now and pay later, right? And one of my mentors says, or you pay now and pay later, but that's a choice. And what we want to have in life is choices and options. That's what we want to have. That if you want to keep going, if you want to keep paying the price, if you want to keep diving deeper into your craft, into your mastery, into your expertise, you could choose to do so. But that at some point you may choose not to do that anymore. You may choose to reside in the fruits of your labors for a period of time. And that's okay too. We at least want to have that as an option and an opportunity. And almost nobody does. Would you agree with that? Almost nobody can stop what they're doing right now for any extended period of time. And also, almost nobody enjoys what they're doing right now, is fulfilled by what they're doing right now, is winning financially because of what they're doing right now. Their relationship is not in a better place because of what they're doing right now. So given those facts, most people would choose to stop what they were doing right now for a life of more significance, more peace, more purpose, more enjoyment, more fulfillment, but they can't because they haven't made these choices. And so again, that being scared just means that you're about to grow, and that frequent discomfort is the price of accelerated progress. So now that we handled that sort of right up front, that hey, not all discomfort is created equally, let's focus on that choosing the discomfort. That choosing the discomfort is the price of accelerated progress. And I meet so many people who wish it was easier. And here's a newsflash: it never gets easier. You get better. You get better by showing up consistently and doing the work that other people don't want to do, by specifically doing the work on you that you don't want to do, right? Doing the hard things, actually executing on challenges, and then giving yourself less time to get more results. Those things are all uncomfortable. Putting yourself out there and sharing with the world what you're going to do is uncomfortable. Stating big goals, living out in front of people, those things are uncomfortable. Having standards that you won't come off of, not being able to do all the things that average and ordinary people do because you're not average and ordinary, because you are pregnant with a dream, and pregnant people can't ride the roller coasters and go to the bar, right? Okay, and so you're protecting that thing, and that's okay. It's okay. In fact, it's not just okay, it's completely normal. If you want a life of significance, you are by default going to choose a life that is not always pleasant along the way, because purpose is greater than pleasantry. Purpose is greater than pleasantry. See, you and I, we were born for far too high a calling to sacrifice on the altar of temporary pleasure, temporary satisfaction. See, there's something greater that is on the inside of us than what we have been living now. And to access that, we must begin, like the statue of the self-made man, we must begin to chisel away the parts of us that can't stay, the parts of us that can't go to the next level, the parts of us that can't go to the rare air. We've got to begin to chip away all of those things. And one of those things is comfort and complacency, being too easily satisfied with too little of an achievement, or too little of an accomplishment, or too little of an impact, or too little significance. Choosing discomfort for the destination is a noble choice. Choosing discomfort for the destination is a noble choice. Choosing what we want most over what we want now is a telltale sign of a world-class leader. The ability to delay gratification and to do the things we need to do because we've been called to do them. Not because we get anything for them, although many times we do. It's because we're supposed to do them. It's because those are the right things to do. It's because that's what we have been called to do. We've been called to be excellent. We've been called to steward and develop the gifts and the talents that we've been given. We've been called to take new ground. We've been called to go further than the people before us. We are dream releasers. We are trailblazers. We are pioneers. We are the people that help other people to believe in the possibilities of their purpose, of their calling. And when we decide that we're going to be a leader, we give up the right of comfort and complacency, and we enter into a life of what seems like permanent discomfort. You know, one of my mentors, the great John Maxwell, loves to say this. He loves to say that in the life of a leader, there are never 2 easy days in a row. Because in the life of a leader, an easy day is a day where we didn't grow. An easy day is a day where we didn't battle. An easy day is a day where we didn't take new ground. If it was easy, it's because nobody else wanted that ground. It's because it didn't take us anything to achieve it. And so understanding that we are going to have frequent discomfort as the price of accelerated progress. And one of the lies that I watch a lot of leaders believe is that it should be easier. Man, I wish it was easier. What's wrong with me? And that's the enemy. The enemy wants to convince you that if you're called, that it's going to be comfortable. And that is anything but the truth. David was called. He was anointed king. He was anointed king. And then he spent nearly a decade running for his life from the very person who was supposed to be taking over kingship from the current leader of Israel. Right? He had to spend 10 years hiding in caves, acting mad, being persecuted by that. See, his calling was anything but comfortable. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you've heard of them in the fire, right? In the fiery furnace. See, their calling to stand up for what they believed in and to not bow down to fake gods, their calling was anything but comfortable. Look at Jesus. He ended up on a cross. Anything but comfortable. Look at Paul in prison. Look at anybody of significance, and their purpose outweighs pleasurability. Okay, their purpose outweighs comfort. Okay, and so understanding that is absolutely normal and necessary, and that if you are choosing a life of discomfort, you are choosing a life of leadership. Now, we're not just going to go be uncomfortable for uncomfortable sake. I meet people like that, right? Like, I'm going to go fast and do all these things. I'm going to cut out. I used to have this guy on one of my teams. Bless his heart. He was such a nice man. And he just loved it. He just loved it so much, but he just wasn't very good. He just was very low capacity, right? Like, he had some stuff in his life that just things didn't line up all the way for him all of the time, if that makes sense, right? And so he had this big heart, he had this big dream, but he had these really, really low capacities and a really, really low work ethic and a very low level of mental toughness. But he would come to me and say, Coach, I canceled K-ball. And I'm like, why? Well, it's distracting me. I'm like, it looks like all of life is distracting you, honestly. I don't know that cutting cable is like what you need. And like, he was like a glutton for punishment. It's like, man, if I could just create some discomfort in my life, maybe that's what I mean. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about choosing discomfort for discomfort's sake. I'm talking about choosing discomfort for destiny's sake. There's a difference, right? There's a difference. That was good, by the way. I'm preaching good today. Okay. So that he said that frequent discomfort is the price of accelerated progress. And that's what I've learned in 40 years of life, is that it's never going to be easy. And every level of life is going to have new devils, new levels, new devils, right? Excuse me. Must have inhaled a little bit. Let me get some of my Polar Pop here. There we go. 89 cents, y'all, at the gas station down the street, which, by the way, is like the mecca of gas stations. Okay, I don't know if you've ever been like tempted, like, I want to go to the gas station to eat lunch because that thing is so good, but that's the sort of gas station is, okay? Anyways, right? That frequent discomfort is the price of accelerated progress. We're just going to understand that. We're going to understand that when we're leading, when we're growing, we're always going somewhere we haven't been before. And because we haven't been there, we lack familiarity. Because we lack familiarity, we lack comfort and confidence in knowing exactly what it's going to be like and what's going to happen. And that's really scary to some people. Some people would rather have comfort than a calling. Okay, but that's not us. We're leaders. We're not like that. Okay, the first part of what he said was that being scared just means that you're about to grow. And man, if I know one thing, I know this: every time you are about to level up in life, all hell's going to break loose. You're going to be fearful. You're going to be scared. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to be worried. You're going to doubt yourself so freaking much. It's unbelievable. You're going to wonder every moment of every day as you are physically traversing from level 1 to level 2, or from level 20 to level 20, whatever level you find yourself at. It's always going to be the same. It's always going to be very, very hard. One of my one-on-one clients reached out to me the other day, and he had a lot of great things going on. And he just had like a guy leave, take a bunch of people with him, do all these things. And he was crushing. He's doing like 100 grand a week in volume in his business. And he called me, he's like, Coach, what's happening here? And I'm like, dude, you're growing, man. Like that's what's happening. You're about to level up. So buckle up, bro. Get ready. And then we came with a plan. I'm like, go get some of them people back. Here's how we're going to do that. And then, bro, understand this. This is evidence of your elevation. This is evidence of your elevation. The fear is evidence of your elevation. The setback is evidence of your elevation. The haters, the financial struggle, the thing that hits you out of nowhere, that is evidence of your elevation. Here's the key. You got to keep elevating. You can't hang with the evidence. And that's some wisdom right there, you all. The challenge is the evidence of your elevation, but a lot of people won't elevate out of that challenge because they want to stay in the challenge and they don't want to move through it. They want to use the challenge as a reason to slow down, to reevaluate, to understand, to get rest, to do whatever it is that they want to do. And you got to move from the challenge to the elevation if you want the challenge to be evidence of the elevation. Okay? So being scared is normal. Being afraid is normal. That's a absolutely normal thing. And leaders feel fear. Leaders live in more fear than most people most of the time, I would say. The difference is leaders are not immobilized by fear. They act anyways, even though they're afraid. And here's some more wisdom for you that I've learned in 40 years. Almost all the things we're afraid of never happen. They almost never occur. The things we're most afraid of in life almost never occur. Or if and when they do, there's not much we can do about it. It's like the fear of dying, right? Okay. There ain't much you're going to do about it. Now, you cannot be an idiot, right? Like you can pay attention when you're driving. You can take care of your body. You can stay away from like super high risk things. Like that's common sense. That's wisdom, right? Okay. But when it's your time, right? Like this ain't your show, you all. Do you understand? like this ain't my show, man. I'm just playing a part. It's his show. And when he says I'm ready to go, there ain't a dang thing that I'm going to be able to do about it. And until he says I'm ready to go, there ain't a dang thing anything else is going to be able to do about it, right? And so I don't need to be afraid, for he knows the numbers of my days. Every one of my days, he already has planned. He already knows. He already has a plan and a purpose. And so why would I be afraid of that? It doesn't make any sense to be afraid of it if that's the case. There's nothing I can do about it anyways. And so leaders feel fear, but they act anyways. It doesn't immobilize them. And they also understand, leaders act with wisdom, and wisdom is understanding that most of the things that we're afraid of are not real, and they're not going to harm us, and they're not going to occur. And if that's true, why would we let them immobilize us? Why would we allow that fear to stop us from walking in faith to our destiny, to our calling, to our purpose? It doesn't make any sense, right? Of course it doesn't. Well, then why would we do that? And so what are you afraid of today? What big choice do you need to make? And you're like, gosh, I just don't know. What are you afraid that people might think of you? What are you afraid of happening to you? Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid of being judged? Are you afraid of being criticized? Are you afraid of not having enough money? Are you afraid you won't do the work? What are you afraid of? Because that fear is sign. It's an indication that you are exactly where you need to be. Now you got to move through that fear. You can't stay in it. You got to move through that fear so that it can be evidence of elevation in your life. Okay? Fear is evidence that we are about to grow, that we are exactly where we need to be, and that discomfort is the price of accelerated success. See, we got to do two things here, right? This is the wisdom that I've learned, and that Robin so greatly put in his book. Okay, that we got to act anyways. We're always going to have fear. Our life is never going to be devoid of it. We got to act anyways. It's almost never going to happen to us. So why would we let it impede us? Okay. And that a life of significance and success and purpose and meaning and impact and inspiration is going to be one of constant discomfort. Why? Because we're always growing, and we're always becoming, and we're always going to a place where we've never been before. And that's what life should be like. Most people, right? They're growing older, but they're not growing better. They're growing older, but they're not growing wiser. Okay. And what's going on there? They're not taking new ground. They're just circling the same ground over and over. Most people, their life is real small, and they got a nice little track right around. They just drive around that thing year after year. But that's not what you want. That's not what we're called to. We're called to live big. We're called to live wide open. We're called to leave a mark, to produce an impact on the world. That's what we're called to do. Okay. And so if we walk into that calling, we should expect that things are going to be hard. They're going to be difficult. They're going to be uncomfortable, and that we're going to have a lot of opportunity to get paralyzed by fear. And knowing this and choosing better, choosing wiser, understanding that is just everything. And why is this so important? Why are you sharing this with me today? Here's what I believe. I believe this. I believe there's two times you can make a choice: in the moment or before the moment. Okay? And when we're in the moment and our emotions are high and our adrenaline is running, and of all the fears and all the worries seem to be at this precipice, at this one point, I don't want to make a decision then. I want to make a decision now. How am I going to handle this? When I feel afraid, If I make the decision now to understand that that's completely normal and that means I'm taking new ground, then when I get there, I'm like, aha, I feel the fear, but I'm like, aha, I was expecting you. And I know you're not here to work against me. I know you're here for me. I know this is here because I'm right where I'm supposed to be, not because I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And when I can decide up front how I'm going to handle the fear, how I'm going to handle the tough choices of pleasure now or discomfort now, when I make those decisions now, I'm going to make them correctly more quickly and more frequently. And when we make better decisions more frequently and more quickly than we're making them now, our life looks a lot better more quickly and more frequently than it does now. And so, man, I hope that this has encouraged you a little bit. I hope it's spoken a little bit of life in you. I hope that you know you're not alone in feeling afraid and feeling scared and feeling like things are hard. I hope you know now today that that's how it's supposed to be for people like you and I, people who are called according to his purpose, people who've been given a destiny and a plan and a purpose, people who have something great on the inside of them. That is the price and the path of greatness. That's what it is. And so, guys, listen, can you do me two favors really quickly? Number one, if you've gotten some value out of this, would you do me a favor? You could do one of two things. You could comment value. That would be amazing. Let me know you got some value out of this. I do put time and effort into these, believe it or not. I just get on here and talk to you. And that would be super useful. And if you really got a lot of value out of this, man, smash that share button. Whatever platform you're watching on right now, just share this bad boy. Share it to a group. Share it to your leadership team. Okay, share it to your friend that needs to hear this. But just share that. That would mean the world to me if you would share that. And secondly, okay, oh shoot, I didn't put that up. Let me put it up right now. Let me see if I can throw that bad boy up. Boom. Can I do it? Oh, look at that. I'm like a dadgum tech genius now. Okay, but up in the upper left-hand corner, you see I just put a QR code up there. I have a brand new book called 12 Words That Change Everything. What we speak about, we bring about. So you better watch your words. I want you to join me as a launch team member for the release of this upcoming book. It's going to be amazing. It's totally free to be a part of the launch team. You're going to get some free swag. You're going to get early access to the book and some extra materials and content. And you're going to get a front row pass to watching how to launch a best-selling book. So if you like books, or if you like me, or if you like growing, or if you like leadership, or if you like wisdom and truth and growth, I would encourage you to be a part of that. All you need to do is just hit that QR code there with your camera, get registered. It's totally free. We're not going to ask a lot of you. We're not going to spam you to death. I promise you. So, man, listen, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless, and we will talk soon.